While Israel and Hamas have agreed to a 4-day ceasefire to release hostages from Gaza, the IDF signaling, quote, "The war is not over yet. The humanitarian pause is temporary. The northern Gaza Strip is a dangerous war zone and it is forbidden to move north," end quote. For more on the very latest, international spokesperson for the Israeli Defense Forces, Major Doron Spielman, joins me now. Major, thank you very much for joining us, making the time for us today. This 4-day pause seems very risky. It can stall momentum built up by the military over these last several weeks. Is there a concern that the pause could make the IDF's job harder in the days and weeks ahead, especially now with potentially dozens of additional terrorists back in the fight after their release today?
Tom, thank you for having me. The pause definitely in fighting, we anticipate that Hamas will not be using this to carry out humanitarian work, even though they may try to be convincing the world in a ridiculous way that they are a humanitarian organization with some of the videos they've put out. They're going to use this time to further their terror activities. There's almost no question. And that is, of course, why they don't want us looking at them and why they've insisted that our drones don't fly over Gaza. We, from our perspective, I can tell you that for the IDF, this is only going to make us more precise and more exact in what we're doing. We're using this time to replace some of our troops, to allow them to focus on some of the intelligence that we've gathered, the operational methodology, and to prepare for the next stage. And in fact, we're going to use this to the best of our abilities. But this is the price that we are paying in order to fulfill the other side of our objective, which is to bring the hostages home. And this is bittersweet because 13 of our precious people came home today. They have a long road ahead. But as we know, another 220 people are still being held by Hamas. And we're waging this two-pronged project. One is the war on Hamas, to destroy Hamas, and the other is to bring home our people. And this pause is the reality of what it's going to take to bring home our people at this stage.
Major, though, it is likely that Hamas, a lot of observers believe, will attempt to lengthen this ceasefire. At what point will that become untenable to the military? Will there be a point where the IDF will say, this far, no farther, in terms of a pause in hostilities? Because at some point it does risk more IDF lives and more in the lives of other Israelis to have a stall, a pause in military operations.
We are moving forward and fully dedicated to completely dismantling, degrading, and destroying Hamas. There's an awareness in Israel and amongst certain people in the world, not the kind of the protesters that you just showed who clearly are supporting a terrorist regime, whether they understand it or not, a shame regime that would just as quickly do away with them as they would with us. But as the IDF perspective goes forward, we are committed to achieving the operational goals, and we're going to do that in any case. Right now, the only reason that there is a pause is to enable a specific number of our hostages to come home, back to our people, and that was what gave pause. We have said and made very clear that we are going to continue with this operation. In fact, we know that we would not be at this juncture with the hostage return had we not achieved our operational goals this far. As President Biden said, Hamas isn't doing anything because it's a good organization. The only thing they respond to is pressure. And we're going to continue exerting that pressure until all of our hostages are home. And then we're going to still continue that pressure until Hamas is completely disabled.
Major, I only have 30 seconds for you, Major, unfortunately. There were reports that Hezbollah wanted to be part of this ceasefire. They are not. Are you going to be continuing operations in the north during this time?
As we've been continuing the entire time, we've been seeking for the front of the north not to escalate, but Hezbollah have engaged us every place they've engaged us. We've hit them from the air, we've hit them from artillery, we've hit them in every way, shape, or form to pound them back and let them know, do not cross this line. If you do, we will do whatever it takes to protect the Israeli people, and therefore don't try to take us on. And that is our holding pattern, and that's where we're hoping to go for the future. We're hoping to contain this and it doesn't ignite further.
Well, I hope you're right. Major Doron Spielman of the IDF, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you.